Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best here around.
Hey everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike.
Hello, Hollywood Mike.
How you doing today, Ray?
I'm doing good. How you been?
You know, I'm doing real good.
Yeah, are you worn out yet from your new job?
I am.
Are you?
I'm a little tired.
Oh, yeah.
Spent all last week just doing all kinds of training and stuff, and didn't have a break because I played Friday and Saturday and yesterday, and
You're a busy man.
yep, celebrated my daughter's birthday.
I saw that.
Went out to dinner.
I wished her a happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, we just went out to dinner, which is why I'm kind of rolling in here just right at the nick of time. I dropped them all off, came over.
What'd you have for dinner?
I had Lake Michigan whitefish.
Oh, okay.
I figure it's local, right?
Yeah, it's full of mercury, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Just can't eat a bunch of it.
I noticed a little glow about you.
Yeah. No, we went over to that Crafted place over on Route 30. Crafted, if you're listening, we're looking for sponsors.
Yes, we are. Please sponsor us.
Yeah, home of the giant pretzel. We ordered this appetizer pretzel thing.
Yeah.
And it was literally on a pizza pan, and the pretzel was the size of a pizza pan. And that's all you needed to eat. We didn't need to order entrees after that.
I was going to say you shouldn't.
No, my daughter posted that though, and her friends recognized the pretzel, and friends of hers came in to wish her happy birthday at the restaurant because they knew where we were because of that pretzel.
Very nice. So she has stalkers.
Yes, she does.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. Well, maybe not cool.
Well, they all know me.
Well, and you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
To protect her. Alrighty, enough dinner talking. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
So we got another duo of the group. We got the Rosedale Ramblin Band here with us tonight. They brought their own fans.
Man, they bust them in.
I saw the bus out there.
That's right.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How you guys doing?
Great.
Us.
Yes, we are talking to Tom and Jim.
That's right. Don't mix it up, Tom and Jerry.
We've got that all set and ready to go.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us about this. Yeah, I'm going to ask your question. Where did the name come from? I'm curious.
Well, I think we were looking for a name that kind of summed up the band a little bit, but we didn't want anything too overly serious, you know? So I thought Rosedale Ramblin Band, we kind of just, we wouldn't, you go on forever. So I said, how about the Rosedale Ramblin Family Jamboree Band or something like that? And we sort of shortened it to Rosedale Ramblin Band.
That won't fit on a business card.
It won't fit on a business card. It's a little long, but people kind of remember it, But
so what's Rosedale? Is it like the street you lived on or something?
yes, that's a park.
See? Okay. All right.
That's a park across from our house.
Located where?
On the northwest side of Chicago, so Norwood Park or like Gladstone Park area.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of near Superdog. That's what most people know.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That's what everybody knows.
You didn't bring any, did you?
No, you don't go there as much when you live there. It's weird, right? When you live next to something, you don't go to it. But it's good. It's good.
Right.
So during the pandemic, we started playing on the lawn right across the street from Rosedale Park. And so that's where we kind of stuck with the name
right
from there. So,
okay. So, and what about the other members of the band? Who else is in the band? Since there's only two of you here, I know there's more than that.
Right. Tom, you want to take that or?
Sure.
Yeah.
So my name is Tom, and I do vocals and harmonica.
Okay.
Jim is our bass guy. And we have Reva Goodman, who is, we call her the queen of the honky tonk.
All right.
She's been around the country scene in Chicago for decades. She's our rhythm guitarist.
Okay. All right.
And our drummer is Dan Tomzik.
We kind of we're kind of we're maybe a little bit in between some drummers, but basically Tom, Reva, and I did it. Tom, Reva, and I all sing, and Reva came from a band. She still plays with this band called Diamondback. I don't know if you're familiar with Diamondback, but they were the Carol's Pub house band.
Okay,
which was kind of like the last remaining honky tonk, from the whole in Chicago. This is in Uptown, which was an Appalachian area. Not to get too much into the weeds on it, but it was really the last remaining true honky tonk there. So that band's been around since the 90s. So I started playing with her, and when Tom knew her as well. So the three of us did it. We had a different drummer, and then we had this guitar player, Lee Borick, who was just a beast. He went to the school, Berkeley School of Music in the 60s. He was a real true, but he had some issues lately, medical issues. So we bring a new guitar player. So, but Reva, Tom, and I are the three vocalists, and we're kind of the basis, the foundation of the band, So.
Right. Bass, harmonica, and vocals. Reva's rhythm guitar,
right,
and vocals,
and vocals, and then you kind of shuffle between maybe a lead guitar player and drummer, kind of working that out right now.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, basically,
and that's the current formation.
That's the current formation. And then, like last week, we had a pedal steel in there too. So we
nice. That's always good.
The lead guitarist and drummer know that they're kind of like,
Now they do.
I was gonna say, because if they don't, you just told them.
It's a tough one. We're right in the transition. You know what it's like. You're in the transitional period, and then you're just trying to figure something out. But we got a great. We got a guy, Bobby Goins, right, and Mike Conroy. Both they've been in different bands, and they're both great. So yeah, we're kind of waiting to see how things end up eventually.
Right.
But those guys play with us currently, and hopefully they'll keep playing with us after this podcast.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. No, I listened to a couple of videos that you guys have online, so everybody should go and check out their videos. But, I was thinking, Tanya Tucker might want to arm wrestle Reva for that name, because didn't they call Tanya Tucker the queen of the honky tonks or something like that?
Well, but Reva's the queen of the Chicago honky tonks.
Okay. There you go.
We had that as our disclaimer for,
Okay. There you go. Perfect.
But you're right. It is.
Yeah. So a little bit more kind of outlaw country style from the videos that I saw online. Would that be a true statement?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of was a big influence. We wanted a foundation in classic country, which really, if you look at like Chicago now, there's a lot of classic country bands out there. At first, it seemed like maybe there weren't, but we just know so many that rotate in between these bars, and so that was kind of our foundation. But Tom likes blues. Tom likes everything, really, classic rock. And then we like, like a lot of Americana too. So we would kind of stretch out from there. But we always say the foundation of the band is kind of like these outlaw country guys, Hank Jr., Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, the George Jones, the greats,
Yeah, I agree.
And then we go from there.
That's my taste in country music.
Is it?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. We have that conversation on this podcast all the time. You're obviously not the first country band we've had in here, but it always seems to go to, a lot of the modern country stuff. When I start hearing dubstep beats in country music, I don't know if I can really call that country music anymore. I want to hear that outlaw swinging type kind of rhythms that, that country music is known for,
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of refreshing to hear that stuff. It's refreshing to have a band that comes in here and they're not just doing Luke Bryan covers. So
yeah.
And honestly, it's the stuff that we know. It's what we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up in Alabama.
Okay.
Not that Alabama has a lock on the market, but my grandparents listened to that kind of music all the time.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I met my wife in it was 1992. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long ago. I met my wife in 1992 at the Cadillac Ranch in Bartlett. And we stopped going there right about the time we used to go every Tuesday because it was ladies' night. Right. And for several years we went. And then when 1995 came around and we got married and realized, well, we don't have to meet at the local honky tonk anymore just to hang out. We get to see each other all the time. We really stopped going, but it's also about the same time that we really stopped listening heavily to country music, because it was during that time when they started taking stuff that sounded like Britney Spears and throwing a fiddle in it and calling it country.
Yeah, that's
and
really what it is.
That's really the wall for me. It's like 1995 to current stuff I'm not really up on, but yeah, I know every single Clint Black song and every single George Strait song. And yeah, absolutely. So as a harmonica player, Tom, it's really easy to have somebody in here that plays in a blues band and say, who are your influences with harmonica? But I mean, you're in a country band. Yeah, there's harmonica in country, but it's usually not a driving instrument in country. So like, who influences you? Who gives you the ideas when you're playing harmonica in a country band?
Well, my favorite is Mickey Raphael.
Okay.
He's the harmonica player for Willie Nelson.
Oh,
and has been for 40 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So when I started playing, which wasn't long ago, I started when I was 48, almost 53.
Okay.
So I started late, and with harmonica, I thought that I was going to play in a little folk band with my church.
Sure. Right.
And then I started learning it and listening to blues guys, and it just wasn't really my thing. Country kind of was. And I would hear some country harmonica from time to time and some folk music. And then I dove a little deeper into Mickey Raphael.
Okay.
A lot of Willie's stuff has harmonica in
right,
all the way through. So that became my influence.
Right. Okay. Whenever I think about harmonica and country music, I think of that song by Clint Black. I love the harmonica intro. I think the song is Put Yourself in My Shoes.
Okay.
Give that a listen. What a great country harmonica intro there is. And I don't know if that's him playing it himself or if he brings somebody in, but there's just this great, almost haunting sounding harmonica throughout the entire song. And it is the intro to the song. So give that a listen. I just gave you guys a song idea.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. No, free of charge. Don't worry about
We'll go into we could do Clint Black,
I was just going to send him an invoice.
Yeah. You're going to send him.
Appreciate it.
Take that off the list.
Yeah. Right. So, and, I guess, fair question. Same thing to you, bass players, right? I think one of the most famous bass players, and people don't even realize he played bass, was Waylon Jennings. People don't realize Waylon Jennings played bass with Buddy Holly and the Crickets, which is absolutely incredible. You tell people, they're like, "No, you're full of crap," and then they look it up and they're like, "No shit, here, I owe you a beer." It's pretty cool. But
Waylon was supposed to be on that plane too.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always felt guilty about it. That's what he says, because he said, "I hope the plane crashes," because they did it, flipped a coin or whatever they did, right?
Wow.
To get on the Buddy Holly plane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the last thing. Yeah, my influences are more, the music. I just love the driving kind of train beats, and that's what I think the bass is real. For me, it's real simple rhythms, straightforward with walks thrown in there and just laying down the foundation. I'm not going to get overly fancy when I'm playing,
Right.
And so it's really just the classic country songs that were the big influence for me, for my playing.
Right. You've got the computer in front of you, Ray, because I do. I should know this guy's name, and I really should. I should know more about this because I absolutely love the band. But I saw that you guys cover a Sawyer Brown song, and I always thought, from bass wise, that the bass player from that band, Sawyer Brown, is fantastic. Everything that Sawyer Brown does, I mean, the bass almost drives everything that they do. And it's kind of, ironic or coincidental that you guys actually cover a Sawyer Brown song. It's pretty cool.
Are you thinking of 6 Days on the Road?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my name is low, but that don't mean she goes. There's a plane coming back and the smoke's blowing like it's cold. My hometown's coming to start, and if you think I'm happy, alright. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
great
he's
song.
actually covering it as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't know who's saying the original. There's so many versions of 6 Days on the Road, and it's funny, like that version. Like there's so many different styles to that song. That we're like, well, how when you introduce it to somebody, well, which one are we going to play? But yeah, the driving bass on that. Is
Okay,
but Sawyer,
That would be Jim Scholten.
Jim Scholten from Sawyer Brown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting band. They got their start on Ed McMahon's Star Search.
yeah.
Yeah, they were like the season 1 winners of Ed McMahon's Star Search. Yeah, that's how Sawyer Brown got discovered. I was a pretty young kid. I think I was pre-teens. I think I was like 12 or something like that when that show was on the air. And I remember Sawyer Brown being on Star Search.
I wonder how many bands came out of Star Search. I didn't know if anybody made it. There must be other people, right?
There's got to be. Well, there was another. There was a guy, Sam something, which was a fantastic vocalist, and now he's one of the most widely recorded vocalists for like movie scores and stuff like that. He came off it. And I just found out the other day that Dave Chappelle was a winner on Star Search.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle. I heard Norm Macdonald was on it, and maybe the Canadian version. He always tells a story how he bombed. I think it was Norm Macdonald, which I thought was interesting. But
wow, maybe that was the predecessor to American Idol.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely was.
It
It definitely was. It's amazing how many like careers that show actually launched.
Yeah.
But
Ed McMahon though.
Who'd have thought we were sitting here talking about Star Search all these years?
I know.
Later.
Why Ed McMahon? Couldn't they find any other personality? Somebody more, hey, Johnny.
Hey, it worked.
I guess it did.
It absolutely worked.
I guess it did.
So tell us a little bit about some of your other influences. What do you guys listen to when you're not playing the music that you play?
I mean, I listen to everything. I love like 90s alternative rock. I like classic rock. I like, this new Americana, this new alt country that comes out, because that's what I was doing. I was searching. I got back in the country. I used to love it. And I was searching for country music. That's when I walked into this Carol's Pub.
Okay.
There was a guy named Mike McKeon that was the bass player for this band. And when I heard him sing, I'm like, I feel like we would end up hanging out. And I'm like, I feel like I'm hanging out with Merle Haggard here. And he's smoking cigarettes outside the bar. He was so real. I'm like, it's just amazing how good you could be. And you're still playing, the bars on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. But it was that classic country that just totally influenced me to start playing the bass. That's when I started playing it, when I heard him play, this guy play. So that was kind of where we started. But as far as but yeah, that's why I listen to Avett Brothers. I listen to Old Crow Medicine Show on the side,
Oh, nice.
Devil, the Dead South. I don't know if you guys remember Dead South. Those are the bands that I love. But then I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen in the car and that kind of stuff too. So, Grateful Dead, love the Dead. Yeah. How about you, Tom? I don't know.
To go way back, I'm more of an 80s hair band guy.
Yeah.
I love Def Leppard, one of my first concerts. GNR,
right.
All those guys.
So then you said you were 48 years old when you started playing harmonica. What makes a 48-year-old man just say, well, shit, I'm going to learn how to play harmonica?
Well, so I played trumpet in high school. So I have a little bit of musical background.
Okay.
After high school, I'd never played anything at all. And one day at church, there was this folk band that came in, and I thought, I would really like to learn how to play an instrument and play with this band. Trumpet's not going to work, but so I bought a banjo.
Okay.
And I thought I would teach myself to play banjo.
Thank you for not bringing a banjo with you, by the way.
Lasted about a year. And I realized that I just don't have the fingers for that. And then, oddly, I gave my dad a harmonica for Christmas. He left it on the mantle. I picked it up and thought, I'll learn how to play this.
Okay.
And started taking some classes at Old Town School of Music, School of Folk Music. Started taking some online classes and just kind of taught myself over the last couple of years.
Let me guess, that first harmonica came in a red, white, and blue box. Did it?
That would be a great guess, but it wasn't. It was a golden melody. In the key of C.
Okay. In the key of C. But in the key of C though, because that's what everybody starts off is the key of C. And and most people have that Hohner in the in the red, white, and blue box.
The blues band, I think it's called.
It might be.
It is. I think
it might be because that's the one I started with, and that's
blues harp.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one that I went to was the Marine Band, and in B flat.
Okay.
It was Marine Band in B flat. And I liked that one because it was actually made of wood.
Yeah.
Instead of plastic. So I was like, I moved on up.
I started on Special 20s, bought a bunch of those in the different keys.
Right.
And because I was a beginning harmonica player, I blew them all out.
Right.
Because you overbend them and you play them too hard and the reeds crack.
Right.
So as I got better, I graduated to the Marine Bands.
Right.
With the Pearwood.
Right.
And then I bought a bunch of Marine Band crossovers.
Okay.
That use a different kind of wood. I think it's a bamboo wood that they don't swell as much.
Right.
They're actually a higher end harmonica that I probably shouldn't be playing, but they make it easier.
Yeah. No, there is a difference. It's a very rare occasion that we actually have somebody that plays harmonica, and it's a very integral part of the band. Usually the harmonica player in a band has a harmonica in his pocket for one or two parts here and there, but you're playing the harmonica. So we get to ask those cool questions. Like, instead of asking the guitar player about his guitar rig, we're asking you about harmonicas.
So I learned how to play basically in this band.
Oh, okay.
Because when we started in the pandemic, in his front yard, I was not very good at all. I'm not saying that I am now, but certainly wasn't then. So I'm teaching myself basically how to play.
Yeah.
While we're on the front yard. We didn't have a guitar player. That's where I was going with this. We didn't have a lead guitar. So I was learning all of the solos on the harmonica.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which gave me ample stuff to practice while I was at home before we went out into the yard. So for all of these songs that we play now, I was the lead guitar soloist, but doing it on harmonica.
Right.
And then when we finally got a guitarist, it's like, let me pull out. I don't need to do these solos. Obviously, we have a guitar doing it. And then I learned how to sort of pepper in when I needed to.
Right. Take a listen to a guy. We interviewed a band on this podcast a little while ago. They're called the Hurricane Project. All friends of mine. The harmonica player in that band is a guy named Tony Medina. Go to Facebook or go to Google or whatever and look up the Hurricane Project and listen to Tony Medina play harmonica. When you said that you were kind of emulating guitar solos with it. I have never heard anybody play a harmonica and literally plays this thing like it's a guitar. Cool. It's absolutely amazing. You should go and check him out. You want to see what he does there.
It's interesting because we'll have times, so we play Ripple, and we don't have a mandolin or anything like that. But so Tom just kind of does that. I don't know how, I'm not a harmonica player, because with the harmonica, you kind of got to be careful. Like you said, you don't really get a lot of bands where that's like a lead instrument. So not to be critical of the harmonica, but a little could go a long way with an harmonica.
Oh, sure.
Right. So, but that's what Tom, I think, is real good at. He just kind of peppers things in where he could play the lead. If you need something, if you need a mandolin, if you need kind of a different sound, he'll do it,
Right.
So
right.
I call him taking care of business, TCB.
Right.
I'm like, whatever you need, he'll do it, And the same thing, he did harmonies, and he started doing vocals. So he started off doing harp, but then before you knew it, he was singing a third of the songs. He was playing the harp. He was doing the harmonies. He was playing the lead harmonica. So it's kind of cool. Like, we get a lot of people, and like I said, we do have some really good guitar players, but a lot of people come up and talk about the harmonica to me after the show. So
because you don't get it a lot. Every band has a guitar player, but not every band has a harmonica.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head. I think the secret to being a good harmonica player is you have to be comfortable with the space. There's so many harmonica players that are not comfortable with the space. They feel like they have to be making some kind of noise. I played with a guy for a few years, and he was not comfortable with that kind of a space. He would find out whatever chord we were on, and he would just draw out the root note on their harmonica. And there were so many times where I thought maybe something was feeding back, but all I'm hearing is the from his harmonica. It's coming through the monitors. I was like, geez, stop.
There are some songs that I'll do a chug, like that's a rhythmic chug.
Sure.
Through there. But not every song.
No, but
find the right one.
I think it works, but it's true. You got to know how to play within the confines, and also just with each other.
Yep.
We're all kind of making sounds together. It's the sum of the parts,
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in the Crime Cave.
So you guys, prior to your harmonica experience and prior to you picking up the bass, you guys had nothing prior, no bands or anything you played with prior to that?
No, I think I was 35 years old or something like when I picked up the bass, and I just, I'm self-taught, which you could probably tell if you listened to me long enough, but that's what but before that, I wasn't playing in any bands.
So this is your first band?
This is our first band that we're getting paid.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that is good.
But no, it is because you said you were 35 and you were 48, and to discover later in life that, hey, this is something we want to do, and you put it together and do it. How cool is that?
Yeah, we're pretty excited. Yeah, it makes you appreciate it too,
Yeah. So tell us about Riva. She's not here and she can't speak for herself. Tell us a little bit about her. Where'd you find her? You said you just started playing with her at was it Carol's Pub or something?
So I went in there. I saw this band. It was a week before Riva started. This is 1999, and there's some stuff on. So I'm a camera guy too. So there's some stuff I've done on Carol's Pub. I'm like, I want to make a documentary about this bar. It was so unusual. Nice. It was such a authentic place, and it was a dive bar, but it was great. And then a week later, she started in this band right around 99, and she they put her in there and then she kept playing. Before you know it, she was the leader of the band by the time 2018 came around or whatever. She's just a great guitar player, great rhythm guitar player, great singer. Just I don't know, kind of an unusual force, I think, but so we were just kind of friends. I'd written some song after our friend Mike died about him. And so she's like, I'll come over and we'll play it together. And then we started playing together. And then next thing you knew, we just kept playing and then getting together, which I thought was great. I was like, wow, this is this band I followed for 20 years. I'm playing with this band now. And then we just were like, why don't we get together and play? And we had a drummer friend on the lawn, and that's kind of what happened. And then we just started. First, she was playing acoustic. I think I had a little amp. no mics. And then we just kept adding things. The drummer came with maracas. Then he brought the snare. Then he brought a full kit. And then we had a PA outside within a couple months. So it all started from there with Riva. And then Tom knows Riva too separately. Tom and I worked together. It was weird.
Right.
20 years ago. And then we ran into each other, but we had this mutual friend in Riva. So she invited Tom. I don't know if there's more to the story, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just a small world thing. I think we were connected on Facebook and she saw that I was, poking around on a harmonica. Thought, well, bring Tom over here.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add guys, people.
So would you say is out of the three of you, is Riva the most seasoned musician out of the three?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
sure, definitely.
Sure. And does she play guitar? And she's in another band as well. Does she play guitar as well or just sing, or what does she do?
So she plays guitar and sings. She's in Diamondback. She's in another band called Honeybee 3.
Honeybees.
The Honeybees.
DB3. And
DB3 is a shorter version of Diamondback. Yeah. The Honeybees. Yeah. Anyway. So, so she's in a few different bands, but yeah, she's a pro. I mean, you could look her up. There's write-ups about her in the Tribune. Like that's where I got the name, the Queen of the Chicago Honky Tonks. So the Tribune, I think, referred to her.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And it was always in the reader for the best dive bars or country bars that are still around. So, she's had some exposure, in the music scene. Everybody knows her. When you go around,
okay,
other musicians and stuff, usually, especially country, they know her. Right. So she's definitely the most seasoned. Yeah.
So the other bands are also country bands as well.
Yeah, they're all country or bluegrass leaning, maybe one of them, but basically country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any of them more of a modern country, or are they both kind of the same?
No, I don't think there's too much modern country going on there. I think they play a little more 90s, which is kind of the last bastion of, I thought, was a classic. You could still find, which I never realized, but you could still find some like I never realized like Clint Black and those guys were still kind of country,
Right.
Who else? There's some other guys too. Who does anyway, but so there are those guys. Those guys still were coming around, I think, but that was the end of it.
Right.
For me, I thought, the 80s and the 90s. And then that was, so yeah, but none of, they used to have a sign that said, the Ghostbusters thing with the slash with Garth Brooks and Shania Twain.
Right.
This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now you're kind of like, Garth Brooks, he seems kind of country now,
Yeah. It's like, people think of him and they're like, well, he's actually kind of one of the cool guys.
Yeah. Now he's one of the cool guys.
They gave him a bunch of crap for it, because they said he was a sellout, but I don't see where he was a sellout. There was a lot of people, myself included. I mean, I've always been influenced by country music. My entire family's from the southern part of the United States, or around central Louisiana. And I mean, I grew up, my mother loved Charlie Rich. I mean, Charlie Rich was always being played on our stereo, and she loved that. My father loved guys like Charlie Pride and Kenny Rogers and stuff. And I love all that, that old country and the whole bit. But, all of a sudden along comes Garth Brooks, right? And he suddenly made country music palatable for everybody. People who said, no, I'm not going to listen to country music. And then all of a sudden they hear this Garth Brooks guy where, but this kind of sounds like Southern rock, more than anything. And then they found out he was a crooner. Because he gets I think, what was it, the Thunder Rolls, right, was like his first big hit, but that was his second album, on his second album. Right. So after that album went quadruple platinum or whatever it did, they went back and re-released his first album, and then you started hearing, oh my God, this guy's a crooner too, and he had like crooner quality, just like guys like George Jones and George Strait, and he was, and really you can probably put the entire weight of the country boom of the late 80s to mid 90s on his shoulders, along with guys like Clint Black. Alan Jackson would be another example of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, they brought it all around. That was great. That was great music back then.
And I mean, and didn't they at one point, wasn't Patsy Cline too modernized at one point when she came up? I'm talking back in the day,
Right.
So there's always going to be people like that.
Yeah.
And in a way, they're right. In a way, well, maybe that's the downfall of the country, Nashville, the Nashville sound that took over. And now these guys, now you have to search out what you think is authentic. That's how I feel. And they're out there, like Pokey Lafarge, right? Those guys there's guys out there that Hank 3. I found Hank 3.
Oh yeah.
And
he's a nut.
He is. he's totally crazy.
He's a nut.
But he's cool. You can catch him at Martyrs, and and you're like, well, that's kind of like what, that's really what country is.
Yeah.
It's this rebel, and this outlaw. So they're out there, but you kind of got, the thing is, I don't want to ramble on about this, but we were talking about it. Like, what I think the difference was like Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard. There's authenticity that you cannot create there because they grew up. Merle Haggard used to watch his father get on the freight train and go to work and then come back, hop in the freight train. Well, a lot of these guys now, they grew up in the suburbs, listening to country music. Nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is. Things are different now. People don't grow up with the bathroom in the middle of the apartment or the outhouse in the back, and that there's something to be said for comedians and people that have some sort of struggle, or I don't know, or that breeds this authenticity.
Right.
So maybe we're not going to get that same type of country music anymore, but I don't know. You got to keep it alive somehow, right?
No, it's definitely out there. There's still guys that are out there working the fields and picking up guitars and playing. But no, you're exactly right. There's a lot of people that, they lived in the suburbs but they just know how to tell a story.
Yeah, and they're good. They're definitely talented, skilled musicians and vocals and everything, Yeah. But it is a little more on the pop side where you add the fiddle or the pedal steel and then you have a country song. I think, I'm not trying to, mess with the whole genre of music. I respect these people, but
I love the crossover that country music is starting to produce with a combination of like blues and rock. You got, Chris Stapleton. Okay. Yeah. We were talking a little bit earlier. Is Tennessee whiskey way too overplayed? Yes. Right. Oh gosh. I mean, it is still probably to this day, it is probably the most requested song of the last 5 years. You have to play that song, but you listen to his other stuff. It's fantastic stuff. Sometimes is it blues? Is it country? Is it rock? Right. Who the heck knows? Lucas Nelson, you were talking about Willie Nelson. His son, Lucas Nelson, is fantastic. I love everything that he's ever put out. And I consider it to be, crossover. You don't know. One day these guys wake up and man, they sound as country as Hank Sr. And then they'll write a song the next day and it kind of sounds like the Black Crows, it kind of has that feel to it,
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing wrong with that, but it's good, right? Because music is whatever you're getting out of it. And, I try not to judge it. Whatever anybody likes is fine with me. If you want to listen to Britney Spears, whatever, if it does something for you, I think it's great.
Right.
But that's what it's created. Like it has created these different, it's kind of gone in all these different directions. I think, it's cool. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, on the way here, I was listening to my favorite country band ever is Shenandoah. Remember those guys? You remember anything about? They had the Church on Cumberland Road, 2 Dozen Roses is another one of their songs. Gosh, they're just a fantastic band. And it was a terrible reason why they're not around. If what I heard about it is true, the name Shenandoah, there was a trucking company named Shenandoah, and they were pretty much given a cease and desist letter, I guess, because of the name or something. And so the story goes, they just decided, I'm tired.
that was it.
That's kind of dumb. I mean, for a trucking company, they're getting free advertising.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a band. They're not a trucking company.
Yeah.
Right. I saw a truck pull in front of me one time. I was listening to Wilco's in Florida.
It said the Rosedale Ramblin Band.
It did not. But I like that story better. I was going to say Wilco, it said, but I like that better.
I've seen Wilco trucks.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Wilco. I'm surprised that they would put a season.
Yeah. Well, but then again, you can Google that. You can't believe everything you read on Google, but yeah, that's,
you can't.
Yeah. No, you can't.
I believe everything.
You believe everything on Google?
Because it's on the internet. It's got to be real, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. John F. Kennedy says so.
Okay.
Some of the other bands, we do some music by Trampled by Turtles.
Trampled by Turtles. Darius Rucker. We do a Darius Rucker song.
Darius Rucker, right.
Turnpike Troubadours, Bottle Rockets.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would consider those. Maybe
Bottle Rockets, right?
Alt country or something.
Yeah, we like the alt country.
Maybe rockabilly. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I like. There's a band. Everybody thinks they're a country band, but no, they're a southern rock band. I love Blackberry Smoke.
Oh yeah,
what a fantastic band they are, man. Jeez,
they're fantastic.
Yeah, and their live show is great. And their live show, they just sound raw. You can tell it's because guys plugging guitars into amps, no fancy gimmicks or anything like that. It's just raw. Yeah, what a great sounding band they are.
Yeah, see, and like you're saying, Darius Rucker started out in pop.
Yeah,
then went to country and was successful there too. Mm-hmm. Then you got a guy like Kenny Chesney that started country, and he still is kind of country, but he's like the heir apparent to Jimmy Buffett. And a lot of country fans don't like him for that.
Yeah.
So he went to this beach thing and stuff. Hey, if you're making money doing that stuff, more power to you.
Right.
Yeah. But, Kenny Chesney was one of these guys. I didn't even realize it. He actually came out in the 90s, had a couple of hits in like 97, 98. And then he kind of, I don't know, floated on the breeze for a few years. And it was beyond any time that I really cared about the music anymore. I hate to say that, as when he started
when the music
to become
died?
more pop. But yes, but that's when he definitely started to become more pop. But if you go back and listen to his first album, you're like, this is definitely a twangy.
Oh yeah, it was all straight out country, man.
Country performer. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I liked him as country. Yeah. And then he just switched over.
Yeah. That's right. But hey, it works for him.
That's right. And, I asked you before, you guys doing any original stuff or planning on writing anything or?
Well, we've got some. Tom is really the one that kind of brings it up a lot,
Does he stamp his feet and stuff?
He gets mad.
Yeah.
You have some aspirations to write.
But no, so we've talked about doing it. The reason for me, and then Tom, I don't want to, you could explain. For me, I was always like, well, we're starting out. We actually have a lot of songs that are that people are familiar with, and we were just talking about this on the way here. I was like, well, if we're going to play something that people aren't familiar with, it has to have something that draws them in, either the rhythm of it, the riff, the lyrically. I try to be self-indulgent because I'm like, we're playing bars where people are just trying to have a good time. And a lot of times they're using you as music to just kind of drink and you're at a party,
right.
Which is fine. Whatever you want to use it. Sometimes people are staring at us and sometimes people are hanging out, which is fine too, So I was always like, well, but now we're like, well, why don't we why don't we sneak in a few? We could easily sneak in a few originals. So anyway, I've got a few waiting. I don't know, but go ahead, Tom. I know you got a punch right.
Well, real quick, do either of you play an instrument that would lend itself more toward writing? Because normally you don't pick up harmonica and a bass and write a whole song with a harmonica and a bass,
which would be awesome, though.
Which would be awesome, yeah. Unless it's Big Bottom by Spinal Tap.
I could send you guys many videos of me playing originals just with a bass, in my basement.
Nice.
Like that's how I do it. And then I'm like, you figure out. I thought that might be a good way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Give it over to the rest of these awesome musicians and let them kind of put their own signature. Then you'd have a real organic band making a song together. So I don't write
for the last
like
year. I'm not sitting down writing music, but I'll have a melody will come to mind, and I'll just grab the voice recorder on my phone.
Sure.
And record those. I've probably got a couple dozen of those. Same with lyrics. I might write down just a few lines, but nothing has turned into verse yet.
Right. They say that it's kind of an old stupid joke. It's really easy to write a country song. What you have to do is you have to have a wife or a girlfriend. You got to have a pickup truck and you got to be drinking something, right? So you flip, okay, is it wife or girlfriend? You flip a coin. All right, girlfriend. Okay. Now the next one is she going away or is she coming back? Flip it. Okay. She's coming back. Okay. All right, good. Next. Is it a pickup truck? Yes, it's a pickup truck. You just go through the line. You got a song written, but
it's so true. There's how many, there's barbecues and there's barefoot and there's certain things that just are in every, especially new country songs.
Yeah.
And with self-driving cars, your truck might leave you.
Yeah. That's,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
You know what? I think that's your next song. I think that's your next song.
Yeah, right. Bring it up to the current date with old themes. I like it.
Yeah, to write a song about
the Dixie truckers home and my truck left me.
Yeah. Talk about the time your truck left you with nobody in it. Boy, that's a country song if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's awesome.
That actually wrote itself
first.
It did.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody steals it.
No, but you know what? That's, I watched, I have actually watched it a couple times, but I don't know if you remember, several years ago, the Foo Fighters did this 8-part miniseries on Showtime. And what they did is they went to each one of their hometowns and talked about their influences, and they would record a song in each one of these cities. And they ended up going to Nashville, and the producer that they were working with in Nashville said that unfortunately, the way a lot of modern pop is going is it has to be a party song. Every girl's butt is a sugar shaker. The parties have to take place by the river. Somebody's got to pass out drunk in the water. I mean, that's what every single, country song is becoming about.
Right.
And it started to get a bad rap. And I think, when people started to realize that, I think where you're starting to get these country crooners come back, I think that gave birth to the guys like Chris Stapleton and Lucas Nelson. And there's a lot of other guys out there where you listen to some of the lyrics of these country songs and you're like, wow. That's a poem. I mean, poetic, and the guy's not just singing about a party song or anything.
Yeah, it's like what's Cody Jinks or something. I think right. There's another guy I've listened to a lot. Where and what was the guy? Oh, Colt something. I can't think of it. Anyway, but yeah, there's that's the thing. Like, I don't want people. For me, this is just my thought. I hate when everybody's having a better time than me. Like, I love the fact that George Jones was talking about a guy who loved a woman until he died and he was miserable. You know, it made me feel better. I don't want to, that's what people went to the music for. Like, but now it's like, and I don't want to sound like an old guy complaining about it, but it's a lot of it is like everybody's just having a good time. Everything's working out.
It's party music.
Yeah. It's like, does tequila make everybody's clothes fall off? Come on, give me a break. There's got to be, tequila's got to do something else.
Yeah. For me, it never worked like that, but although we do that song. But.
Keep practicing. Keep practicing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I like to hear that electric truck song. That's
self-driving truck.
Yeah,
Self-driving truck.
Drove away from me.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So last question.
Question?
Something like that.
Like the amazing Kreskin?
Yeah, something like that. So I guess within your band, within your music, whatever it is, and both you guys or either you guys can answer this. What drives the passion? What is it?
For me, I love the music, number one. Number two, this is maybe a weird one, but I just want to show my kids that you don't ever have to quit doing something.
No, that's not weird.
You can learn something new and you can keep going as long as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not weird at all. Mm-hmm. That's good reason.
Yeah, for Jim? For me, I just like, you sit at home, you sing in the shower, you play. How many guys, just play in the basement and they never play out, but they enjoy it. That's what I did. I just played with friends,
right.
You rent a studio or you play. I just like playing.
Right.
So if there's an opportunity to play out, I just think it's a natural, I think you have to play out, you want to be in a band, you want to go out. So I just think it's a natural, for me, it's just natural progression. I'm like, I'm just going to take it as far as I can go until somebody tells me they don't want to hire me anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where we went. We just, these bars, we started in a couple bars and we got a couple more bars and we're like, all right, well, we're playing. And as soon as you get a call from somebody you don't know at all, which is great, and they want to hire you or they want to hire you for a festival or something, then it's great. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm just like, as long as you're having fun, let's just keep doing it until somebody tells you or nobody wants you anymore. Right. I'll still play it.
And then still do it.
Right.
Yeah.
In the front lawn.
So, on the front lawn. Yeah.
So how do people find you?
Well, we have a new website at rosedaleramblin.band.com. And from there, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, see some of our videos, little information about the band,
schedules
and our schedule.
Schedules on. Any merch or anything on there?
No merch.
We have t-shirts. And then we sold them out or we gave them away probably.
Yeah.
So now we got to get them back.
Tattoos.
We had tattoos. Yeah, we had tattoos. So yeah, we'll get some merch. But right now we don't do merch.
Wait, you have tattoos?
We made little
fake tattoos.
Fake tattoo. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Okay.
Press-ons.
Of course, we have nothing here. We should have brought something for you guys.
Okay.
Yes, you should have.
We have good t-shirts.
Yeah.
Is that customary? Did we offend?
No, not at all. Well, every once in a while people bring out some merch there. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we're going to send you some. We just got to get it. You got to buy them in bulk. You got to buy them cheap.
You do. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're paying $15 a t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any big dates coming up in like July or August or anything?
We actually have 3 dates in July, which is more than we typically do.
We're playing we play the Thirsty Tavern. So we play a lot of Northwest Side and we're playing the Schiller Park. So we play the Thirsty Tavern on July, what is that? It's a Friday, July 7th, I think. And then we play the 15th at Philonix on Milwaukee Avenue. And then we go to Schiller Park to this place. These are all great bars. Richie's July 22nd. So
other way around, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just so we get it right. July 7th, we're at Thirsty Tavern on Milwaukee. July 15th, we'll be at Richie's Restaurant on Lawrence and Schiller Park. And July 22nd, we'll be at Philonix on Milwaukee Avenue.
Nice.
Yeah, so check us
So,
out.
did you get that order? Because don't show up at the wrong place.
That's right.
In the wrong time.
They're waiting for you, and you're like, "Where the hell is he?"
Can you imagine that? Yeah, there's a guy here with a bass guitar and nothing else.
Do we have a band tonight? I don't think so.
No, we just got a solo bass performer.
Yeah, nobody wants that to happen. Nobody wants a solo bass performer.
Can you imagine that? Everybody's eating their dinner and you're hearing boom, 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 boom.
What is that? Is somebody doing construction? I think somebody got a flat.
Oh, we only pick on bass players because you have to.
Because you have to. That's right. Because we can.
Yeah, you know, my favorite bass player joke is: do you know how the stage that you're standing on is level?
How?
Because the bass player drools out of both sides of his mouth at the same time.
Wow.
All right.
Well, with that,
On that
I want
note-
to thank you guys for coming out tonight
It was a
and being
pleasure.
ridiculed by my co-host here.
I appreciate you guys having us.
Absolutely, man. You guys are a lot of fun.
Hope to see you soon.
All right,
Thanks a
thanks.
lot.
Thank you
Take
guys.
care.
We appreciate it.
There we go. The Rosedale Ramblin Band.
Yeehaw.
We just rambled on for about 45 minutes there.
You know, I enjoy talking to those guys.
I did too.
They had a pretty good history of or knowledge of the history of some old country,
Yes,
and
they
they're
did.
passionate about playing it. I absolutely love the fact that they were older.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
48, and he says, "Oh, what the heck? I'm going to pick up the harmonica."
Yeah.
And he's and Jim said he was what? He was 30 something.
35 or something when he picked up the bass.
Says I'm going to start playing the bass, you know, and doing that. And
Play in my basement, play in the yard, play with my buddies, and then one day say, you know what, let's put a real band together and go out
yeah.
and do it. You know,
Yeah,
that's-
and it's like, and we're not going to stay in our bedroom and do it. I mean, are you really a musician if you're, you know, playing in front of the mirror?
well, if you
You know?
if you have that one fan out in front of you all the time, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But yeah, that was very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
no,
Very
I-
knowledgeable in their
yeah.
country, the country music scene and what's happening. And I'm really happy for them that they're making it.
yeah. You know, and they mentioned a couple of new clubs to me, that at least clubs that I had never heard of before. May have to check them out and see what they're about.
Yeah, because they're all the way on the northwest side and stuff.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
don't
that
get
is
there
true.
that much, but
Yeah,
we should check them out.
absolutely.
So we want to thank everybody for listening once again, and check us out next week, next Tuesday, when we have another exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. See ya.
We're out of here.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Chicago.